So we are in an enclosed high tunnel. It's July 26th. It is currently about 85 degrees inside this high tunnel. And so as you can see, we've got different pieces of plastic out, and there's some weeds in certain places and no weeds in other places. And I find that particularly interesting. So this is our solarization project. And the main focus of this project is looking at managing sclerotinia. And this tunnel has sclerotinia in it, just naturally infested, as many tunnels across the state do. And so we are looking at how can we manage this, potentially eradicate it, perhaps for a season at the very least. And so we started this project in April, and we solarized for 2, 4, and 6 weeks, starting April 6th. And we collected soil temperature data at 2, 4, and 6 inches, which is where sclerotinia can be primarily found in soil. And so we collected them using data loggers. So I have a couple of different options here. This one, is for the maybe a little bit more or a little bit less tech savvy, such as myself. You've got to connect it with a cord and get the readouts that way. This one is kind of cool. It can connect straight to your phone via Bluetooth. And so for people that are interested in that kind of thing, this is an option. These things exist. So we buried data loggers at 2, 4, and 6 inches. We also buried sclerotinia inoculum at 2, 4, and 6 inches. And so at each time point, we also had a non-solarized control, which you can see over here is nice and weedy. So all those weedy rectangles you see behind me, those are non-solarized. And so in April, we started April 6th. At 2 weeks, we got none of the temperature that would be required to kill sclerotinia or neutralize it. So we're aiming for about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That's our goal. At 2 week mark, we did not see any of those temperatures at any of those depths. But at the 4 week mark, once we crossed into May, early May, we started to see those temperatures. Now, the interesting thing is that we started to see those temperatures late in the day. So starting at 4 p.m. to about 10 p.m., we could sustain those high temperatures, 100 degrees or more, up to 105, 106 degrees Fahrenheit. So that was really excellent news. Dr. Gochi is going to talk more about what those temperatures mean and how long you need to sustain those temperatures to get where you're at to manage sclerotinia appropriately. But another component that I'd like to point out, so we're now in July, so we've already pulled up the 2 week solarization. And as you can see, it's been over a week since we pulled this up. We are still weed free. So although we were not looking at weeds for this particular project, that has been a lovely bonus, just an observational bonus, I would say, from this project, is that at 2 weeks, we can manage also pretty well managed weeds in this high tunnel. In April, we did not see that level of weed management. So the 2 week solarization in April was still quite weedy. 4 weeks was much better. 6 weeks was really good. So in July, early July, this will go again 2, 4, 6 weeks. So we'll be crossing into August with this solarization. I would hope to see even, I kind of want to keep my eye on this 2 week plot, these 2 week plots, and see how long they last before they start to get weedy. So my question, and maybe this will be a future project, is, are we killing those weed seeds? Are we kind of just neutralizing them for a period of time? What's happening? If I were to till this, would I bring more weed seeds up to the top? Most likely, right? And so I think that's really fascinating And we have Dr. Larson here with us, and a little bit later, he's going to talk about some added bonuses to managing weeds in your high tunnel. So herbicides are not permitted in a high tunnel while a crop is growing, or pretty much any time. So it's also kind of just risky behavior to even spray herbicides next to the high tunnel, because we see a lot of accidental damage or drift from herbicides onto our vegetable crops. Vegetable crops are very sensitive to herbicides, and so we really want to be careful. So from a grower's perspective, management would be mostly mechanical, right, or physical. So you'd be hand weeding. You could get a walk behind rototiller in here and till. You could also just lay a black weed mat down to just keep the weeds down. You're not killing them. The moment you pull that weed mat up, they will show up, but you're managing them for the season or for the amount of time that you need to manage them. But putting that weed mat down doesn't allow you to really interact with the soil very much, or cover crop. A lot of people find it a barrier to properly fertilizing the soil, collecting the proper soil samples. I hear that a lot. Well, I have this weed mat down, so I can't do X, Y, Z. And so although that woven weed mat is really very handy and useful, and I myself, we use it in our program quite a bit during the summer, it should be pulled up every once in a while, sanitized or replaced, and perhaps cover crop the ground and that kind of thing, and properly address the weed situation.